key points you will see in this presentation, they are all like the key points we saw in our experiences in Laval University, in the collaboration we have with the administration. So we think that the first biggest and first important point is to be neutral. I mean, as an alliance, as a representative of the student, and also as an intermediary between the administration and the student community, we have to be neutral and apolitical, to be sustainable in our relation with the administration. Why that? Because university partially build their credibility on their neutrality, but also because universities are very attached to their image. So we have to keep in mind that we are like student associations. Sometimes it can be complicated to discuss with the administration and to discuss with the university, and made that the administration take get the information from us. So that's why we think that the first point of being neutral and apolitical is the best way to have this relation with the university. So I'll pass to the next slide. Please, Katherine. Thank you. Okay, so the second point is get to know the player. So after being neutral, we have to know the player. When we say player, we talk about all the different stakeholders who are in the campus. So there are the student, the group of students, but also the administration employees. So involved or in charge of SDG program. Why we do that is to understand their mission and their vision, and try to connect this different point of view. And we think it's like one of the first steps you have to do if you want to build sustainable relation with the administration. So you have to understand what think the students about the SDG and what they think about the sustainable development and what the action they are doing. And if there is other stakeholder, other group of students or association active in this theme, and also to understand what the point of view or the vision of the university on that subject. But when we say that, we're not only talking about the administration as an institution or the university as an institution, but also about the person who work inside the university. So as I showed you in the example of the SWOT, in Laval University, there is only 4 persons who work on this subject in the campus. So it's easy to go see this 4 persons and talk with them and try to have like connection with them and to understand what the vision of the university, but also their vision of the SDG inside the campuses. By knowing this person and by sharing with this person, you will have like a better relation, and you can build a better relation with the administration. So I will pass to the next point. Thank you, Katherine. And my next final point would be sharing a common goal. I put it mix and match. Why mix and match is mix and match the different goals from the different stakeholders. So we begin with being neutral. So we are neutral also in analyzing and understanding the different mission and vision of all the stakeholders. And after that, we try to make connection between them. So creating a successful partnership is about finding common goals and knowing the strengths and weakness of both parties. By identifying the goal and what both sides can bring to the table, the partnership can naturally take place to work together toward achieving those goals. So by second step of identifying the mission and the vision of all the stakeholders, we can identify the different like a connection that we have between them and build on them. Thank you. So I will pass to my partner for the next step.
So I'm gonna speak about the other. So you have to reinforce collaboration with the administration also. So you can do that by creating a successful partnership. And it's about trust, respect, and patience. So it takes time, you guys. For that, you can develop the organization credibility over time. So you cannot expect the administration to know that you are an expert in SDG right away. You have to show them. You have to prove them that you are. You want also to show the potential of sustainability of your organization. If your organization is new, you have to build a template that can last. You have to work on your recruitment and make sure you always have enough members. Stay in touch and keep partner informed about your project. So you can tell them to come to your events and invite them. Tell them what's new and what is coming up. And maybe you can team up with the administration because maybe they are working or want to work on something similar to what you're doing. And maybe they can help you because they have resources that you don't have. So think about that. Get to know the member of the organization and their role. It's very important because if you want to know who does what in order to connect when you need something, to know who to connect with. And because it's important that they know who you are and that you know who they are, because you can connect and speak more easily that way. And create a partnership with scientific organizations, so an institute or center. We are part of the CIROT, the EDS Center, and the SDSN Canada. It sure will help you with getting resources that you need. You can take the other slide. Demonstrate the need to fill the gap. So what does your campus need? So you have to create something that is new. So identify the needs, so the what, the when, the who, the how, and demonstrate that the administration meet the local need while while taking into account the challenges. So make sure that the need is not filled with another organization, and don't be afraid to be innovate. So for example, the Alliance, as we speak earlier, meet the communication need between student, association, and the administration. And we're also a student representative on the consultation table. So the lack that we identify was identified thanks to a collaborative work with student and association. We realized that there was a need of a better communication between each of the student and the association, because we were trying to do same project at the same time, and it didn't work because we were not having the resources that we needed. So in order to speak with each other, you can help each other. We can go to next. And be present. This is very important. Don't miss out any sustainable development event on your campuses. It creates opportunity to meet new collaborators and invite existing partners to share ideas and show your progress. So in order to do that, you can invite partners to your workshop and make sure that they know what you're up to. Promote everyone's participation and encourage people to take part in your discussion. So make sure your partner, you ask your partner what they think about your ideas. And find out about sustainable development events and projects on your campuses. Participate and promote them. For example, this is something that we do that maybe help you. It depends on the number of person that is coming to your event, but the best way to do that is by going small. Like, for example, in our General Assembly, we make a round of table and ask them, like, what's your name, what's your organization, and we ask them what's the project that is coming up, to make sure that we can go and promote this event of the partners. So that's pretty much it.
sorry, my mic was off. So if we summarize a little bit what we've learned, well, it's a mix of all the tools that we just presented and also these 5 elements. So first of all, get to know the people, as we mentioned. For us, the mapping was the first step because there are a lot of student initiatives on our campus. So it was to see what are the students, yes, like the 4 people in the administrative body that are in charge of the sustainable development, but also what student initiatives are in place also. So we can, it helps us afterwards to be present and to consolidate partnerships. So just if we want to act as a representative of the students, we need to know who's doing what on the campus. So the mapping was the first important step that we did. And I think this step was crucial to all the other events that we did afterwards. After, as we mentioned, collectively determine the objectives was, as Elisabeth mentioned, with the consultation table and with all the other points of discussion that we had before, even before establishing our mission as an alliance. We consulted all the other students, student groups, to make sure that we are not doing a duplicate of what they were doing, because we had a lot of student initiatives that were in environmental activism, and it's not exactly our branch because we're trying to be neutral, but we wanted to make sure that our vision was colliding with the visions of others and not make sure that we can all work together. So determine the objectives collectively. This was a very crucial step also, because then everybody who wanted to work with us, they kind of felt that they were a part of the alliance as well. So that helps to create a hub that people feel they feel is their hub also, because you can't say that you represent students if they don't have a word in what you're doing. So we wanted to be coherent in that sense. Also, build and maintain credibility. For us, it was first of all to do something and then to share it with the partners. So yes, we also pair students' initiatives together so that they can better work together. So we're kind of a facilitator in that sense. But we also work on our own, doing trainings, doing careers fair, like job fairs day, so that people can see that on our own we also do stuff so that the SDGs are promoted on the campus. And then when we talk with the administration, we can say like, well, we did that for that reason, and that was the outcome. So by having actions on our own, we can create this kind of credibility that the gap that we mentioned earlier is being filled by our presence. So this is also very important. And in the same area, also maintaining and consolidating the partnerships. Then we do create partnerships by mapping all the people and by taking first contact. But the way that we maintain the partnership was to sometimes invite people to our events and to sometimes our reunions. I remember there was one member of the administrative body once that didn't quite understand our role as an alliance, and she asked me like, what's the difference between us and other student initiatives? And it was so important to us that she understood, because she's part of the administration. So we invited her to meetings, and we just gave her more information so that people working with us as our partners understand who we are and why we're there. And this is also in the same idea as being present. So if we always go to events and show up to and invite people to our events also, then we can create this kind of solidarity between the students associations. And it's like we need to be as present for other student initiatives as we want them to be present for us when we need their help and their support. So these are basically the 5 things that we learned, and we've been focusing on in the past years to make sure that the contacts that we make will follow through and be helpful to us, and we can be helpful to them in their events and their planning as well.
You probably know more, but I was just gonna say we're sort of at the beginning of making such an alliance. And because UBC is such an especially large university with so many clubs and organizations and different groups that are playing a role in sort of sustainability, it's incredibly difficult to try and find all of these stakeholders and sort of assess their needs and their desires and what they're currently working on. Even within an individual faculty, not even necessarily looking at the entire university. So maybe a question would be, what would be the best method to go about finding all of these groups and sort of first interacting with them and reaching out?
I can maybe answer to that. I think there's two possibilities here. The one that we use, in fact, is a mix of the two. First thing that we did is having a collaborative meeting with a lot of association and ask them, like we did that with the administration. It was not only us, but with the administration. Last April, there was meeting about the new action plan of sustainability on the campus, and they wanted to know what student and association wanted on the next plan of sustainability, and we were there and we were listening. And the thing that like speak of the most was about communication. That's when we say, oh, okay, like there's a lot of people saying the community, the communication and the between association, between student was missing out. So we try to improve on that. We will say, okay, that's maybe a thing that we can talk about. And the other thing, it's maybe reaching out, maybe not on a group, but that's right now what we want to achieve is by going, seeing and just talking to other association, like getting to know each other. It's very important. It takes a lot of time, but it's sure something that is very important. And to ask them, like, do you know what SDGs is? And to explain to them and make example of what it is and local and between what what their needs is, and to try to make a connection between SDGs and the local needs.
And I think that sometimes, if I can add, sometimes the first step is like, okay, but who do I go see first? Like what association should I go see first? And I think the key to answer to that is once you participate to events surrounding either social issues or environmental issues, all the people that are involved in those events are potential targets. Like there are people who are interested in sustainable development, and maybe they don't know anything about the SDGs, but they're in an anti-plastic manifestation, for example. And those are people that could become potential contacts. So by being present, by being in all those conferences, all those events that are being organized on campus in different faculties, then you can just like network. I know it's not always easy and fun to do, because you're just gonna go and talk with people that you don't know, but if they're in the same event as you, it's because you share some interest. And just by talking and saying like, oh well, I'm in an alliance, do you know what it is, do you know what are the SDGs, and then just giving emails and sending reminders. And it's like Elisabeth said, it's a long process of communication, but that's how we started, actually, by our personal contacts and by associations that we know are doing militant actions on campus for either plastic, for water use, and as an alliance also we are very diverse in our field of studies, so that helps because we have access to different faculties. So if I go with my contacts and Riadh goes with his contacts, then already we have a lot of different people involved. So start with what you know, start with people you know and with your own interests. And sometimes like Elisabeth and I will go and participate to events, not necessarily to represent the alliance, but only because we are interested in these events, or like online courses on I don't know, like on how to cultivate your tomatoes. I don't know, something like that. And then people that are on this workshop will be interested as well because they share your values.
And also,
I wanted to.
Okay, you go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Yes,
Oh,
go
okay.
ahead.
I wanted to add 2 points to that. For us, the Impact Alliance at the University of Waterloo, how we started was kind of, we knew there were a lot of groups, doing their own events, initiatives, and programs across the university and at the community level. So we wanted to, establish our hub from starting by organizing a conference. So kind of the idea there is, if you're not too sure who the players are on the field, organize a sustainability conference or a panel or a session, and then you will attract those players, and there you can kind of network with them. So that's kind of how we started, but it does take some effort. Another thing that I've seen around is that universities will have sustainability offices. So it could be as simple as going to their website, which they often catalog sustainable clubs that you kind of direct you to. So you can look there, as a point of way forward to who's involved.
Yeah, I can add to that. That's what we did as well, by having a training of Steve Lee of the 3% project about how to manage to use the SDGs on campus. So yeah, it's a good idea.